Are you going to use the microphone?
No.
No? Okay, all right. So everybody's got their pen and paper. This is the wonderful Mary Nguyen, who today is going to do her talk on numerology and whether you can find your destiny in the numbers. My name is Selene. I help organise and run POI with Mus, who unfortunately today is in quarantine and has been a bit ill as well. So hi to Mus and hope he gets better. So Mary I am actually friends with, and I met her last year and we had a kind of instant connection. So I'm very excited that she's presenting this talk today, and I'm not going to say anything else because it's a very exciting talk and you're going to learn a lot about numbers and possibly your own destiny. So can we have a big round of applause for Mary?
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am so excited for all of you to be here, and I'm also very grateful for this opportunity to share my passion. So I've been to the past 5 or 6 POI talks, and seeing people talk about their passions just made me want to share my passion, which is numerology. And this passion started when I was 13 years old. When I was younger, I felt like I was the black sheep of the family. I was actually raised in Des Moines, Iowa, in the Midwest of the U.S., and it's pretty conservative there. I was actually born in Vietnam, and my family, all of them, they immigrated to Iowa to start a new life. And all the adults encouraged their children, the second generation, to pursue the medical field or the law field. And I'm like, I'm not interested in that. I want to be an artist. So even at that young age, around 13, I was deeply interested in existence, in the meaning of life, of purpose, and the afterlife. And I spent a lot of time in the spirituality sections in bookstores, and I came across this book when I was 13 about numerology. I picked it up, read the first page, and I said, that's really weird, all these equations, it just...
Mary, could you turn on the mic? You have the mic on. Turn that on. Microphone.
I don't need...
Do you want to use the microphone?
Did you not hear me? Okay.
Hello. Testing. Is that better? Can you hear me?
Good.
Much better. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
I'm just going to put this.
Okay. All right. So back to, is it work? Hello? Yep. All right. Back to when I was age 13. When I opened that book, it just blew my mind. Because when I was that young, I was very self-critical. I didn't know who I was. Everybody wanted me to be this or be that. And I was just not that interested, so I didn't know who I was. And ever since opening that book, I have read for possibly thousands of people. I've read for everybody that I knew, even celebrities, and even did case studies. And since 13, it's now been 13 years. So I studied it for over a decade, and I'm excited to share this passion with you guys. So the question that I want to ask you guys today is, can numbers reveal your life path at birth? So I know some of you guys don't believe in this, but I'm going to help you guys go on a journey together with me to understand what is numerology, where did it come from, and the fun part, which are your birth date numbers. So this is going to be fun. Okay, and that's Pythagoras. So let's begin with, what is numerology? So this is my definition from 13 years of study, and I define it as the study of assigning or interpreting the meaning of numbers and the value corresponding to each letter of the alphabet. And these calculations, I get it from your birth date and your birth name. And it tells me of timing, of cycles, of patterns and positioning. And the number system that I use is from Pythagoras, or the Pythagorean system, to assess somebody's patterns, personality, purpose, and epicycles. And we'll go into those in the next slides. So there are 3 components of numerology that I use to understand a person and myself. So I have name numbers, and I could calculate a person's full birth name. It could be brand name, business name, married name, short name. And for birthday numbers, we're going to go over the birthday numbers, which is the most important because those numbers are permanent, your birth date. So we'll go over your birth calculations on birth year, birth month, and birthday, and it'll be simple. And lastly, the 30% of the work I do is on epicycles, which are numbers on yearly, monthly, and daily energies from birth to the end of life. So just a short history, and then we'll go into the 3 numerology systems. So the numerical systems, they've been around for centuries, but it wasn't recorded in English until 1907. And the earliest recordings were from ancient Egypt, Babylon in the 5th century, along with China, Japan, ancient Rome, ancient Greece. And there are 3 major systems that we're going to go over, which is from Chaldea, the Kabbalah, and Pythagoras. So let's begin with Chaldean numerology. So this Chaldea, approximately, this is a dynasty approximately around that ruled around 600 BCE, and it is a dynasty of the Babylonian Empire, and it was the last and it was the final civilization of Mesopotamia. And Mesopotamia is actually a civilization that's lasted around 6,000 years, starting in 4000 BCE. The Mesopotamians were known for their excellent astronomy and even astrology. They believe that there is no difference between heaven or earth. So, for example, if you got a sign, any repeating numbers, there's no difference between if you got it from heaven or earth. It is one realm. And they also believe that time is not linear, it is cyclical. There are also Mesopotamian texts that revealed numbers were assigned for gods, stones, metals, plants, anything in nature. According to their system, to the Chaldean numerology, letters in the alphabet were assigned a number 1 through 8. And 9 was not used because it is a holy and a sacred number, and that number always disappears. And they also believe in the power of double digits, which are called master numbers. So in reference to master numbers, there is a modern day book of Chaldean numerology, and these master numerologists said that 22 is a master number in the ancient numerical value for a circle. It implies completion, fulfillment, and cyclicity. And that picture, if you know the recent Pixar film, Soul, one of the main characters, her name's 22, and I'm not going to reveal too much about what happens, but she's there to show or demonstrate completion. Then the next system is from the Kabbalah, or Gematria. And the Kabbalah, so let's go over what the Kabbalah is. It is a school of thought in Jewish mysticism with esoteric traditions dating back to biblical times. They believed that the world was originally created in perfection, and every person's responsibility is to recover that state of perfection, which is to reach cosmic consciousness. And they also believe that souls came here to learn, and when we reach that cosmic consciousness perfection, then we return back to God, Source, the Creator. And now moving on to Gematria. It is a Hebrew numerological system with Greek influence. The word Gematria actually comes from the Greek word geometry. And it is a system in which Hebrew letters correspond to numbers. So looking at the earliest Kabbalistic text called the Sefer Yetzirah, it indicates that gematria was first formulated in the 2nd century CE. It is a tool to interpret biblical text using logical reasoning to understand how God created the universe. It wasn't central for rabbis to use to understand the Bible. It was just a tool. It was used occasionally. We're looking at another system from the Kabbalah. It is called the Sephirot, or the Tree of Life. It represents the mathematical harmony of the universe. And it was designed by early Kabbalah masters in the 12th century in southern France. And it deals with creation of the world, the nature of God, nature of existence, and the afterlife. So we're not going to go into much detail with it, but as you can see, there's 10 nodes or 10 spheres representing, it's called 10 sephiros, representing 10 creative manifestations that we received from God. And the 22 lines, interconnected lines, they represent 22 life paths corresponding to the Hebrew alphabet. And then we have the last and most modern, most popular numerology system, which is the Pythagorean numerology. This is what I use. So, Pythagoras, who was born around 570 BCE, he was a Greek philosopher and mathematician. Numerologists refer to him as the father of geometry and father of modern numerology. He actually studied in Egypt with priests, studied geometry, astronomy. He even studied the Chaldean number system and symbolism and mysteries of Isis and Osiris, which is the god and goddess. And while studying, he discovered various lengths of music, various lengths of string related to sound, related to sound, reducing music to mathematical ratios. He believed that reality consists of mathematical processes, and you can reduce everything in nature into a single digit, 1 through 9. He also considers 11 and 22 as master numbers, which is also used in epicycles. And epicycles, they are calculations that reflect energies felt by a person. You could also calculate a number for every month and even every day, which is a large portion of my work. So for him, Pythagorean numerology, he is not a numerologist. A lot of the teachings are based on him for numerology today. But yeah, he's just known as mathematician. So his teachings in numerology or numerical systems, it wasn't intended to be spiritual. It was meant to be used in practical everyday life. It had to make practical sense, logical sense. So less feeling, more logic. Right, so now, what are the numbers? So we have single digits that we're going to work with, 1 through 9. And that's from the Pythagorean system. So just to explain this a little bit, you see that every letter corresponds to a number. So for example, AJS equals 1, BKT equals 2, CLU equals 3. Okay? There are also master numbers, and they are 11 and 22. So looking at master numbers, one of my books called The Complete Book of Numerology, Modern Day Numerology, David A. Phillips, he said that in basic mathematics, 22 represents the circle, for it is the lowest whole number, to which the ratio of the circumference with the diameter of a circle relates to 22 over 7, and which symbolizes pi. So according to him, 11 and 22 have metaphysical and scientific significance. So for example, mathematically, the circle, which is of completion, it equals 0 or infinity. And metaphysically, the circle equals eternal life. So therefore, 33, 44, 55, etc., they're not considered master numbers because they have to have mathematical logic or spiritual reasoning. And that's just literal cartoon image of pi. So back to the 3 components of modern day numerology, which is what I use every day. There are name numbers, which is based on the Pythagoras system right there. And I could calculate soul urge, personality, and power. It tells a lot about your traits, your personality. But I mostly do that work with brand names, and we'll later at the end go over a case study on what points of interest means based on a Pythagorean number system. Most of what I'm going to share with you with the calculations are going to be birthday numbers, which is they're the 3 key numbers that reveal something about your life path. So we'll go over life path calculations, attitude calculations, and birthday calculations. We don't have much time to go over the epicycles, which can be calculated given a number yearly, monthly, and daily, but I'll just talk for a few moments that using me for an example, this is my year of reward and recognition, and this is my month of speaking and communication. So, who's ready to calculate? I'm going to be going over, I'll guide you through this. We're going to be going over life path, attitude, and birthday. So you see there, life path is, the formula is the year, the month, and the day combined until a single digit. Then the attitude is the month and day reduced until a single digit, and so on for the birthday. The birthday is just one day. Okay? So does everybody have notebook or pen, or you can use your phone to calculate? It's going to be really easy. So I'll explain at the very end what each one means, but I just need you to calculate your numbers first. All right, so on your paper, I want you to write the year, the month, and the day, and your specific birthday under it. I'll use, while you're doing this, I'll talk through my birthday example. So for me, I'm born 1994, November, and the day is 28. So simple step. We're going over the life path calculation. So the next step is you need to separate every number in each component until a single digit and add them back all up together. So as you're doing this, I'll talk through mine. For year 1994, it's 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 4 equals 23. Since we're focused on reducing them until single digits, 23 is not a single digit yet. So I have to add 2 plus 3 equals 5. And when you get that sum, I want you to circle it. Then for the month, I'm born November, so that's the 11th month. 1 plus 1 equals 2. And then circle that. And as for the day, simple as well, same process. 2 plus 8 equals 10. 10 is not a single digit yet, so that's 1 plus 0 equals 1. Okay? And the last and final step of getting your life path number is adding what you circled together until you get a single digit. So for me, that's 5 plus 2 plus 1. You see it in white circles, and that equals 8. I am an 8 life path. So I hope this is clear for everyone. Okay, so that's a life path number. Then I'm going to be going for attitude number, which is the month and day. So you already have it reduced to a single digit. So all you got to do is, for me as an example, I just add month and day together, which is 2 plus 1, and 2 plus 1 equals 3. That's my attitude number. I hope you guys understand that. And then the last one is birthday number. So reduce that. I mean, it's already there for me. It's 1 for my birthday number. You can take pictures. We'll go over the next slide on the sums for each calculation. Oh, for the life path, if you get a double digit, keep reducing it until a single digit unless you get 11 or 22. That's a master number. That's really important. That's a different lesson. So life path number only exists, the only sum you should get for life path is 1 through 9 or 11 and 22. Okay? So I'm going to go over what each one means. Life path number is, if I were to ask anybody to memorize one number, it would be your life path number, which is the path to fulfillment according to numerology.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you play the year, like you make it the total as 22, should you make it as 4 or keep it at 22?
Only in the sum, then it's 11 or 22. But while you're reducing it until a single digit for 1994, keep going until a single digit. It's only true for if you got the sum for 11 or 22. Okay? And now back to the attitude. What does that mean? It is your general approach to life. It shows me how you walk towards your life path number. So your attitude. And then the birthday number is your day-to-day approach to life. That's day-to-day because it's your birthday number. And it also shows how you're viewed at first appearance, first glance, according to numerology. And the next slide is the sum for each component. Okay? So life path number, you should be only getting 1 through 9 and 11 or 22. So I highlighted the master numbers in red so you'd see it. For attitude number, it should only be 1 through 9. And then the birthday number, okay, so this master numbers are important in here too. So I listed all 1 through 31. For me, for example, I'm born 28th, that should equal 1. If you're born on the 11th or 22, it should be exactly that. Don't reduce it. And also on the 29th, if you're born that day, it should be 11 because 2 plus 9 equals 11. So I hope you guys understand that. It should be really simple. Okay? And are you ready to move on to the next one? So, picture, okay, there you go. All right, so 3 seconds, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go over the life paths, okay? I know I got you guys to calculate attitude and birthday number, but the number that I'm showing you, it is also relevant to your attitude and your day. For example, my life path is 8, but when I go over life path 1, it is true for my birthday number. So, I mean, if that's still not clear, then just pay attention to what the 3 numbers mean. Simple. Okay? So, for each life path, I'm going to be giving you models for them, like successful people, 5 total, so I can explain, so I can relate to practical life. And I'll be going over life purpose, gifts and work talents, challenges, and how to develop from those challenges for each number. So I'm going to be going over 1 through 9 and 11 and 22 in random order. So just surprise. So starting with 7, if you got 7, can you please raise your hand so I can know the energy of anybody who has 7s in their charts? Okay, people in the background. 7, okay. So the life purpose of a 7, they're here to have profound faith in themselves, in their inner wisdom, in their intuition, their light, and their destiny. So they're here to teach and share their discoveries with the world. They actually really enjoy solitude time, and they discover a lot on their own. They're also here to bridge the gaps between the spiritual and physical world and become practical guides to others. They actually learn from direct experience. So for example, if somebody gives them advice, they're going to question it. They're the people who question. When I do charts for people, it's mostly 7 life paths to ask me, how'd you get that? How'd you get this number? Where'd it come from? So moving on. Oh, and they are an example of, their life is an example of returning back to God, source, perfection. Okay? And moving on to gifts and work talents. So they acquire by attraction rather than force. So if they specialize in something, they attract business towards them. It is a very gentle life path. And they have a sharp mind for mental analysis. They're very studious as well because they really enjoy alone time. And they like to be a part of something deeper. If they have a regular daytime job, what really fulfills them is if they have opportunities to understand who they really are deep down. And they also do well space traveling or working alone. For example, we have Elon Musk, who is a 7 life path. I'm going to give an example of him accepting his destiny. So when he was 14, he read this, he actually had an existential crisis, which is kind of a dark time where you question your purpose or what you're doing, why you're here. And he read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and he's like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to build rockets to Mars. And next thing we're going to go over, so like he accepted his destiny. So the next thing we're going to go over is challenges of 7. So if you have a 7, your life path, attitude, or birth day. So the challenges is having lack of faith in yourself, not trusting other people and avoiding their opinions, avoiding their advice. And they can be cynical and suspicious, always asking questions, and also withdraw. And a lot of, they could also have communication breakdowns because they feel like, well, if I share who I am, I might be misunderstood, I might be betrayed, I might feel shame for who I really am inside. So they're actually here to learn to open up and trust and share. And how you can, also, they could have no boundaries and overshare as well. So it could be at the very end of the spectrum. They could also escape through drugs and alcohol because they do like to travel, and that could, go to the negative side as well. How you can develop from these challenges is to honor your need for privacy, learning to open up, maybe not look for signs of betrayal, share what's in your heart and not in your mind, and also to consult your body's wisdom because you're pretty much the expert of your body. Okay, and even training your body, some physical exercise to learn how to trust your own body as well. And the last thing is refreshing in nature's beauty, because they do really enjoy natural beauty. So some other examples, I have Sadhguru, Princess Diana, Marilyn Monroe, and Anthony Bourdain. So I don't know, when I look at them, you could just feel their spirit. And they also have a lot of mystery to their lives as well. And 7 is the most mysterious number in numerology, this is the number that most fascinates me. Okay? And moving on to the next life path, we have 3, which is quite opposite of 7. So their life purpose, they're here to accomplish the art of speaking or expression. That's my attitude number. And they use their quick thinking, their mental capacity to express intuitively. They feel at home when the world is their stage. I would say I'm pretty comfortable here. And they use their power to remain optimistic through difficult times. So when we look at expression, you could use your word to uplift, to inspire people, to instruct people, to teach people, or you can use your word to belittle or criticize or gossip or whine. In the gifts and work talents, for no other life path, it is most true for 3, is the pen is mightier than the sword. And they are most fulfilled sharing their gift of communication, and they're also to also use their emotional sensitivity to connect. They have the ability to flip a negative into a positive. And if they're also in the positive, if they're pursuing teaching, writing, entertainment, and counseling. And a model example, if you don't know him, his name is Simon Sinek. He is a TED speaker. He's an author of, best-selling author of Start With Why and Leaders Eat Last. So he really is very intrigued of how you can use communication. So just best example. So the next, we're going to go over challenges. So for 3, self-doubt really is the most challenging. So that self-doubt is like, oh, what if I'm not prepared for like this speech? What if I'm not good enough? What if like I don't know my information? So self-doubt is what stops them from performance. And also repressing their emotional expression. They could just, when they come into a room, if they want to hide, they could just keep on this cool mask, like I don't feel anything. Like, and that's from also feeling shy as well, which I had a lot of issues when I was younger too. So like I said before, using their word to complain or criticize wrongdoings of loved ones, of society, and also lacking responsibility. 3 is actually the most joyous number, and humor is pretty important to them. So how you can develop from those challenges, if you have a 3 in your chart, is to treat self-doubt as a hurdle to overcome and not as a stop sign. And to focus your emotional flow with exercise. And to honor your emotions in the moment. If you do not honor your emotions, you might maybe start manipulating or just being dishonest with how you feel, not saying things directly. And if you want to pursue performance, start small with a small audience and then grow bigger. And since they have like large emotional antennas, they can feel the emotion of the room. Is to have empathy over sympathy. Empathy is like, oh, I can imagine how you feel, and sympathy is like, that your pain is my pain. Okay. Some other famous 3s. We have Rihanna in design, a singer, performance. We have Daniel Radcliffe and Harry Potter on stage at home, and we have Cristiano Ronaldo, performance, and we have a comedian. Kevin Hart, yes. Okay. And the next number we have is life path 8. That's my life path. So the purpose of the life path 8, according to numerology, is they're here to establish financial freedom and spiritual freedom. So if you see the karmic symbol, they're right in the middle, and they're here to balance material wealth and the fullness of spirit. And they're here to own their inner power and authority, and to use it to serve a higher purpose, and also being generous, sharing their wisdom and abundance. That doesn't always mean money. It could be sharing your knowledge, sharing your time, your energy, your heart. The gifts and work talents is that they naturally have a business mind and executive ability. They can see the top of the ladder and get there, and they also have strategic intelligence on how to get there. Also in the positive, if they're striving towards professional goals and making good income, and also, like I said, gaining authority, owning their authority and influence to make a positive difference in the world. And they also do well making their own rules. I actually have a hard time listening to authority, and I'd rather do things my way. So by default, I'm an entrepreneur. And also, once I find my own power, or 8s, once they find that, they help other people find their power and even abundance. So a model of an 8 life path, we have Martha Stewart, which is around 1999, first female, self-made female billionaire, working with a lot of home decor, kitchen, home living, garden. Yes. And then the next one are challenges of an 8, if you have that in your birth chart, is you don't accept your inner power. You might resent authority, which makes it hard to accept your own authority to create some positive difference in the world. They also may act above the law. I mean, I've done that as well, because it's like, again, they don't like being told what to do. And also underestimating their words and actions as well. So with the 8 in your chart, you could have lessons of action versus inaction. Also, another challenge is struggling with negative beliefs about money. Like, oh, money is just associated with greed, exploitation. I don't want to do anything with money. That's on the negative side of an 8. And also self-sabotage before reaching the peak of success. For how to develop from your challenges is to tune into your power, for example, meditation through martial arts, and also taking responsibility, working on your beliefs about money issues. And also to create more abundance in your life is to count blessings and appreciate the abundance all around you. And also to trust that your efforts will bring abundance. And if you do selfless service, that's going to help a lot. Other 8 life paths, I have Kylie Jenner right there. Also Nelson Mandela. We have, sorry, I study like thousands of people. I kind of forget their names. So sorry. I forgot. So, well, the one on the bottom is an Italian designer of like luxury brands. I'm just going to move on because Giorgio Armani. Yes, that is him. And Liz Taylor. Yes, thank you so much. The next number, we have the 6, which are known as the visionaries and nurturers. So their purpose is to help society evolve using human consciousness. They really value vision, truth, and justice. And personal growth is their domain. They also believe in a strong family unit. It is essential to their happiness because 6 is a symbol of bondage to family, to marriage, to children. And they're also here to master balancing obligations because they might tend to feel responsible for everybody. The nurturer is kind of like the 6 is like the parent, the mother, the father number of numerology. Also, they're using human consciousness to inspire hope and change because they do well with evolving, with personal development. The gifts and work talents of a 6 is working with their high vision and even wisdom, using their exceptional creativity, and also to utilize their deep and loving care to teach and heal, bring harmony within groups and communities. And also, they do really well with home business. This is a life path number that also finds it hard to work under people for a while. Okay? And they're also, I put manifestation magnets because they have this ability to attract the right people to help them to reach their goals. On the other side, they could also say, I don't need help. I can be by myself and work alone. And the next day, they're all alone. So an example of a 6 nurturer or visionary, we have Michael Jackson. So he has made a lot of songs about making this world a better place. There's Man in the Mirror, looking at yourself to make this world a better place. And he made a famous song with Lionel Richie called We Are the World. So it's usually 6 that see this utopian society. So next we have the challenges of a 6, which is giving to the limit. So like I said again, it's like a parent number, feeling really responsible for everybody. They can be self-righteous as well, teaching truth and justice. Like that's not what you should do. You should do better. You should keep doing better. And also they treat themselves that way, to constantly trying to improve themselves to higher standards. There's perfectionism leading to frustration. There is a tendency when they first meet people, they see the highest of them. They idolize a person or an environment when they get into it. And if you put people on pedestals, they're bound to fall. Okay? So that's projecting an idolized image of others or society, and also failing to not appreciate imperfections of the world. How to develop from that is to confront perfectionism. So, and see the big picture, which is there's actually maybe divine perfection everywhere. And also to work on their true self and not ideal self, because they're usually the ones that say like, I can do better, or I should have done better, or maybe I'm in this relationship, maybe there's somebody better, like there's always something better. And also to loosen up and practice loving detachment. Because like I said in the beginning, 6 is it's a number of bonding. And appreciate things as they are here and now in this present moment. Other famous 6 life paths, we have Jeff Bezos, a visionary of what he can do with e-commerce. We have Albert Einstein, we have Britney Spears, and we have John Lennon. Yes. Okay, so the next number is life path number 1. This is an exciting number. Okay, they're the pioneers, they're the innovative leaders of numerology. Their life purpose is they're here to explore. They're here to imagine new things, bring new ideas to the table, and start trends, and also venture out to unexplored paths. So they would do well helping people adapt and adjust to new environments. And once they bring out the best in themselves, they help other people bring the best in them. And also to be on this clear path, okay? And another part of their life purpose is not to be influenced by society. Their gifts and work talents is courage and willpower and tremendous focus. They use their strengths. They have adaptability, really good at adjusting, and they have this unique vision and out-of-the-box ideas. So these people, they either look different, think differently, or live a life that's different from society. Also, they have a creative intellect, which is really good to solve problems in business or finance, and they can do anything when they're confident. So one life path, they have a lot of physical energy. It's like a surging river. And when it is surging, when it's in flow, when it's not limited, there's nothing that can stop them from reaching their goals. An example of a Model 1 life path is Steve Jobs. So he starts trends. He's known as a pioneer, innovator of technology, of Apple products. Okay. And moving on to the challenges of a 1, if you have this in your chart. Ignoring your inner voice. Being your own worst critic, being the worst judge. Like, I'm not good enough, I don't feel adequate enough. They have issues with comparing themselves to others and feeling inferior. Okay? So overwhelmingly insecure, and it prevents them from taking creative risk. I mentioned feeling inferior, and also suppressed energy leading to addictions. So like I said, their energy is like a surging river. And if there are things, if it's restricted, if it's repressed, if it's blocked, what can they do? Just getting involved in self-destructive behaviors. And how to develop that? For ones, don't seek validation. Their purpose is like not to get influenced by society, like I said in the beginning, and getting in touch with inner strength. So for example, every day, do something creative, maybe solve problems every day. And also striving to work with confidence. And so if, using Steve Jobs as an example, do you think he was 100% secure presenting the iPhone? If you don't fully feel secure, just tolerate it and go through it and present your ideas. And other famous ones, we have MLK, Martin Luther King. We have Lady Gaga, who set 12 Guinness World Records. The one that's gotten most Facebook followers, Instagram followers, Twitter followers, and a lot of Grammys and awards. We also have Ronda Rousey, first female to sign into UFC, only female to be in the Hall of Fame for UFC, and the first woman to win judo a medal, or not medal, some Olympic award for judo. And Prince Harry. And just recently, he's living in the US, he doesn't want to do what his family's doing, kind of considered the black sheep. I'm going to do my own thing. Next life path. We have 11. So this is double the energy of 1 life path. But when you add it together, 1 plus 1, they also deal with 2 energy. Okay? They're known as the master intuitives and inspired illuminators. Their life purpose is they're here to guide and inspire humanity into awareness. It is actually the most spiritually inclined number. So if you're born on day 11, on the 29th, or your life path 11, this is relevant to you. Okay? They're here to inspire humanity, the consciousness of humanity using art, music, connection, culture, to help uplift people spiritually. The gifts and work talents is they're really creative with their strategies because they have double 1s. And they also enjoy naturally networking with people. Also motivated by inspiration to improve the quality of living. And also they have exceptional vitality, so double the energy of 1. So 1 itself has a lot of physical energy. So as their abundance flows for them, as their energy flows, they got to keep creating. Also to serve a larger good for community. An example of a Model 11 life path. If any fans of Mind Valley, we have Vishen Lakhiani, who's from Malaysia, and in his mission statement, it is about inspiring others using human consciousness. Okay. Moving on to the challenges and development. They could feel like they're lost, no sense of self. They could be just wanting to constantly prove themselves to their peers, also feeling inadequate, inhibited to take creative risk, enticed by physical rewards of society. So if you have a master number, you have great potential to help human consciousness, but also on the other side, a great potential to fall. Okay. If their energy is repressed and turns inward, it also leads to addiction, self-destructive behaviors, even illegal actions as well. And how to develop that is to focus your creative service to for the community, and also to practice discernment, or what's different between the rational and the emotional mind, and to grow through spiritual awareness, and also to engage in teamwork. So cooperation and collaboration is so important to their growth and confidence for 11s. So also working with strong partnerships. And other famous 11s, we have Prince William, here to serve his family. Okay, he's perfect where he is right now. We have Gabby Bernstein. She's a teacher of consciousness, upliftment, and personal development. We also have Emma Watson. Oh, so in Harry Potter, this is interesting. Her character studied, I think it's called arrhythmia, something like that. And J.K. Rowling actually put that as a study in Hogwarts. It is using numbers to predict the future, which is influenced by numerology. So that's interesting. And we have Tony Robbins. I got it. So working with spiritual upliftment. And next life path. We have number 2, which are known as the mediators and diplomats. Their life purpose is they're here to listen to their intuitive voice, balance with the rational and emotional side, but they're actually here to listen to their emotions, okay, which leads to strengthening their intuition. And also to create meaningful connections, teach others to relate to one another. They serve well if they're diplomats for countries, for neighbors, for communities. And also they're here, their life purpose is they're here to demonstrate that civilization is not built on isolated individuals. We're built by working together. For gifts and work talents, they're able to sense people's needs and motivations very easily. It's an intuitive life path. And they excel in any field requiring strength and sensitivity combined. Okay, they're very good at support and assistance, so they're good at providing complementary partnership. And also, like I said, serve as diplomats. They're here to move people emotionally and bring peace to the world. And an example is Amelia Earhart. She was the first female pilot to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. And she's also helped women explore other opportunities, especially in aviation or flight, serving a higher cause. Moving on to the challenges and development of 2, we have, so for challenges, giving until they sacrifice their health. So they do enjoy working with others one-on-one, might have issues with over cooperation or codependency, like, this is my partner, we're doing everything together. I can't separate my emotions from yours. Also feeling responsible for everything and everyone until they sacrifice their health. Pendulating between 2 extremes, for example, using your rational mind to solve the situation, or also giving so much that you just suddenly withdraw and you just emotionally detach to a person because you feel like, I'm not appreciated enough. I feel like I do everything for everybody. How to develop that is to balance between the mental and emotional sides, abilities through personal development, and also to create healthy boundaries between, like, for example, giving and receiving, and even saying no, learning to say no. And also to reserve internal issues first. So since they're mediators, I find they have a lot of internal strength because they don't like conflict. They stay away from it. So there's a lot of internal strength with that. But before solving other people's issues, they gotta solve their own issues first. Okay, and also channel their energy through Eastern practices like yoga, Tai Chi, MMA, meditation. And other famous twos, we have President Barack Obama, I think 43rd US president. Diplomat, we have Jackie O, which was JFK's first lady. Who's a diplomat. We have Tim Burton, and we have David Beckham. Yes, okay. David Beckham's really good at working with a team. They really enjoy this, twos. Next one. This is the most exciting number. We have life path number 5, which are adventurers. They're the change makers, and they are the free spirits. They have a lot of energy. They're very passionate. Their life purpose is they're here to be agents of change and freedom. And they love it when they have the freedom to explore depths, to experience mysteries of the world, and to experience liberation themselves. And to master self-expression without restrictions. So what I mean by like mastering self-expression is having the mobility, having the freedom to move through emotions. Could be through finances, could be moving socially freely, could be sexually, just freedom in any choice that they want to do. Also, they're here to pursue freedom by self-discipline and help others find their passion and freedom once they do. In the gifts and work talents for 5, they inspire others with passion. Also, they have this vivid imagination for selling, marketing, writing stories, and they also thrive in entrepreneurial adventures as their own boss. They find it really difficult to work like 9 to 5 every single day. They like changing their routine a lot. And also, again, another gift is, so they have like kind of like multi-talented people, and if they're in the positive when they're using varied experience to help others achieve their freedom. An example of that is we have J.K. Rowling. They're known for having excellent imagination, so she uses it for storytelling to help people travel through these mysteries in Harry Potter. Moving on to challenges. They can be restless, scattered. They can juggle so many things at the same time, and having a hard time focusing. A lot of their lessons is actually in extremes, especially in youth. So for example, independence versus dependence, like depending on somebody. There's overindulgence versus self-control, and there's also discipline versus like lack of it. And also fantasizing a life about freedom and not doing any work for it. So that's another challenge. And also to escape through addictions. Yes. And how to develop from that is, I find that focus, discipline, and commitment is the key to their success. And focus is saying no to distractions. And when I mention discipline, it's like discipline is what gives you freedom. For example, if you eat unhealthy, every day you can discipline yourself to exercise, and you free yourself from the past self. And also to strengthen imagination, because they have vivid imaginations, and also to take travel opportunities, and also to remember that they have the freedom to choose. Other famous 5s, we have Mick Jagger, we have Gordon Ramsay. He's the master of expressing without limitations. We have Angelina Jolie, Russell Brand. They're actually, sensuality and passion is their energy. Okay. Next one, we're almost done. I think we have 3 left. Okay. We have number 9, and in the beginning we have Chaldean numerology. They said, "Oh, we don't use 9. It's sacred and holy, forbidden. It always disappears." Maybe this will give some explanation. So their life purpose, they're here to live and lead with integrity and to use their wisdom and life experience to teach others by example. So demonstrating peer leadership, and that is by example. Okay, and also to go beyond rules and opinions of society. So that is them being inspired by universal law, spiritual law, higher principles, and being inspired by that. And once they are inspired by something higher, they become a source of light for other people, and that's why they're known as guides, sages. It's actually a number that represents spiritual enlightenment. It's at the very end of life, and it's like they went through all these life paths 1 through 8, and at 9 they're like, all right, I made my money, I got a family, healthy family, I became number 1 with this, connected with people. Now I'm at the end of life. What can I do for other people? And that's why they're known as humanitarians. In their gifts and work talents, they really believe that be the change you want to see. So demonstrating, so teaching people by example, okay? And also to use their wisdom and life experience to teach others. Also, they do well gravitating towards managerial or leadership positions, and if not, people put them there anyway. And also, given any situation, any problem, any issue, they always ask, what's the higher principle, which is like, what virtue do I believe in, what value do I believe in? And also working with higher universal laws. An example of a 9 is Gandhi, a 9 life path, who said, be the change that you want to see. Okay, he doesn't force people to do what he wants to do, he shows by example. For the challenges of a 9 is hypocrisy. So it's like saying, do as I say, not what I do. So that's out of integrity. And integrity is also your mind and your heart is aligned, or you're aligned with your values and virtues. Another challenge is ignoring their wisdom, and they would rather teach by using a system created by society. They could stick to one philosophy, one religion, and they tell people, this is how you should live. So like moral righteousness. And also, if they're on the negative, if they're using their charisma or leadership for wrong reasons. Also, since number 9 is at the very end, on this challenge is remaining bitter about the past original family and having a hard time moving forward. How to develop from that is to practice presence, being here and now. And also to study human nature, develop intuition, patience, and compassion for others. They're also in the positive, developing positively if they're engaged in their spiritual side or higher principles, and also go easy on themselves because they tend to feel like, I want to help everybody, serve everybody. I sometimes feel like the world is on my shoulders. So go easy on yourself if you have a 9 in your chart. And above all, free yourself from society's opinions of how to live and to speak from your heart, listen to your heart. Other 9 life paths, we have, we have Gandhi. We have Bob Marley, Yoko Ono, who's an activist and artist. We have Cher, and we have Elvis Presley. Okay. I think we have 2 more life paths, guys. Or 3 more, I don't know. Life path number 4, which are the teachers and the builders. Oh, sorry. You take pictures? Okay. Number 4, teacher and builder. So their life purpose is they're here to achieve stability and security, starting at the foundation. So they're here to help civilization endure and get difficult things done. So I think when I see large buildings, I think of the 4 energy. Okay. Their life lesson is having the willingness, patience, and commitment to follow a process step by step. So if you think of a turtle, they're going to win the race if they take things patiently and they stick with their plan or their goal. And also to master the balance between their highest ambitions and practical reality. It's really down to earth energy, and that's why a lot of people depend on them. They have a lot of reliable, you can rely on them. And even their knowledge too. They like to learn and be educated. Their gifts and work talents is having the ability to analyze things from beginning to end. Very powerful analytical mind. And once they see things from beginning to end, they're able to teach other people, and that's why they're known as the teachers. They become experts at what they do because of their observance with details. Also providing security for others, teaching people the importance of structure and foundation. And their best work is with hands, with their earth materials, physical material world. An example of a 4, we have Oprah. 4, they endure a lot of challenges. And she, of course, reaching her fame and success has gone through a lot of even discrimination, sexism, abusive at a young age. A lot of her empire is built through step by step, and people do really rely on her for knowledge, for advice. Next, we have challenges is perfectionism. So 4s, they like structure, they like maps, and analyzing things. So sometimes maybe being obsessed with a lot of the details that they're like, it has to be perfect. And they do have a lot of ideas, and if they think, well, if it's not perfect, then I'm not going to do it. So that's a challenge. So lacking flexibility in the mind or just staying on the same course. And if they keep staying on the same course, it could lead to repeating mistakes over and over again. Lacking trust and intuition too. So if they lack trust in their intuition, it makes it really difficult and stressful to make decisions. Also, working so hard that they neglect their home or emotional life. On how to develop is to appreciate both sensitivities and strengths and work with earth materials, like I said. And also they're the ones that are like students for life. So training their memory, they're going to learn so much about. And also to apply visualization so they can widen their intuition. Build by gradual process, and also relax. Stop and smell the roses. So other famous 4s, we have Keanu Reeves, we have Eckhart Tolle, Will Smith, Jay Shetty, all they like to teach people. And they're very, you can depend on them. Very grounded, down to earth people. Then we have 22. So they're known as the master teachers and builders of the future. They have energies of 4 and a 2. Their life purpose is they're here to establish internal harmony and peaceful cooperation with humanity. So they have a double 2, which 2 itself is about cooperation, and they have double that lesson. They're here to help humanity build the foundation for the future. It's kind of a life path, an energy that's hard to duplicate because they actually learn fast, achieve very fast. And they would do well to contribute significantly. They can contribute significantly for practical everyday life using art, politics, business, humanities. In their gifts and work talents, they crave knowledge to improve their self, which makes them equipped. So on their path to learning so much, having excellent education equips them as guides for others. They also have this powerful analytical mind, just like 4 itself. And also, they prosper if they're willing to commit to a process. So they're known as masters of the material world to benefit humankind. An example of a 22, we have the Dalai Lama, very grounded person. He's here to teach others. Okay, and also really involved in education and rebuilding. I think from Nepal or Tibet. That's what I meant. Okay, and challenges is material greed, because like 4, they can work so hard that they can neglect their home life. They could be indifferent to suffering, like I don't really care if people suffer. And also having this excessive analysis leading to mental breakdowns, emotional outbursts, really hard, like a lot of tension with their nerves. And also there's notoriety, having their ethical principles tested. So with master numbers, a lot of potential to change humanity, but also a huge potential to fall. Also making impulsive decisions that they later regret. So in their success is taking things one step at a time. And they can also overgive until depletion. So just like 2, they feel responsible for helping everybody. And how to develop from those challenges is to structure the daily life, balance work with pleasure, it's a lot of balancing between the two, and to enhance your spiritual side with art, dance, anything involving rhythm, and to practice self-compassion, which Dalai Lama is a good example, and also to seek out leaders and mentors to help open doors. So other famous 22s, we have Tina Fey, we have Dr. Bruce Lipton, biologist, very educated man, teaching people about manifestation using your cells, your biology. We also have Sir Richard Branson. He owns Virgin Airlines, a businessman. We have Kim Kardashian. She's also, with 22, you have potential to master law or business. And using social media, she's mastered business, and also she's studying law, but also known for notoriety. So next life path, I think we have one or two more. All right, no, we're done. So we're done with that. We're gonna go over a case study. This is the very end of the presentation. It's gonna be based on the Pythagorean name numerology. And again, just to remind you, this is the system using 1 through 9. All right, here are the letters associated with each number. So for example, with P, it says under P is there's 7, and so on. We're gonna go over 3 different energies, and it's gonna be a quick slide. So I'm not gonna repeat every single number that comes out, but just to give you a basic idea, I do this for brands, and it shows me the energy where it's leading them. So soul urge, so if this was a person, the soul urge is calculated using vowels in points of interest. So for example, I have to add the O, the I, and in the word of, I have to use the O. So calculating all the vowels together, so as you can see under, it says soul urge, it says 6 plus 9 plus 6 plus 9 and so on, until a single digit. That's really important. And for the soul urge of points of interest is number 4. And the next one is personality, which is the public image of a brand or a personality of a person, the face that they show to the public. It's also a 4, so it's really strong with 4 energy, which is structure. And the expression is every single letter or number added until a single digit, which equals 8. Or you can just take 4 plus 4 equals 8, the soul and the personality. So just go over the general idea of 4, 4, 8. So 4 alone, so you've learned all the numbers 1 through 9 and 11 and 22. So 4 is about structure, it is about education, it is about building a strong future. And it has to be dependable information and education that you can depend on. And 8 is about business. So there is a potential to master law and business with 4, 4, 8. And just a little more, so 4, 4, 8, it suits any businesses or any entities, communities that involve criminal justice, banking, government, medical research, professional sports, or corporate business. But it requires a lot of integrity, to apply integrity, effort, and good judgment. So that's 4, 4, 8. Mastery of business or law. Okay, and so back to the beginning, the question that I have for you today. So you learned insights about numerology. You learned the history, where it came from, the roots, what it means, and the numbers 1 through 9 and 11 and 22, the master numbers. So having all this insight, I'm going to ask you the question that I have for today directly to you. Can numbers reveal your life path at birth? Okay? And so that's it. That was a hard close. So with all that you calculated, I really hope that I've given you insight on direction, on who you are, because numerology itself fulfills me and gives me purpose, and never been happier doing this full-time here in Vietnam. So that's my presentation.
Well done, rockstar Mary. Life path number 8. I think what Mary was asking you directly right then was, did your life path number, if you calculated it on your piece of paper that I provided you with, did you resonate with it?
Yes. Yes.
Great. Okay, we're going to open up to questions in a moment. Actually, we're going to open up to questions now. So if you want to give feedback about your, life path number resonating or not, or you want to ask other questions about numerology, go for it. Hold on. Can we? No, we can't stretch the microphone.
When do you want me to do social media? Or
Yeah. It's all right. We'll
later?
do that at the end, yeah.
So,
I don't think we can stretch the microphone. Fabian.
You said 9 is a divine number. Is it related because 9 is the mirror of the 6, or 9 as the idea of 3 times 3? So 3 as the idea is, 3 stands for an individual, right? 3 aspects which form true truth, which comes forward.
I didn't mention any of
You said
that.
9 was a divine number. This is what I noticed.
Yeah, it's a holy, sacred number symbolizing spiritual enlightenment, the end of life.
Because then comes 10 and 10 is unknown.
10 is 1 plus 0, which equals 1.
Then it starts.
Yep. Okay.
And 33?
33 is, it's not a master number because there's no mathematical or spiritual significance. It's only 11 and 22, which is mentioned in Chaldean numerology, mentioned in the Kabbalah, and Pythagoras, mentioned 11 and 22.
33 levels of spiritual growth.
What was that?
33 levels of the birth. You never heard of this?
I didn't say anything about 33, so. Any other questions or comments?
Can you just clarify, because at the very beginning of the presentation, you said you had life path, and two others like the
Yeah.
days. You understood the question?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
how can you, infer about anything?
Okay.
I think maybe
Like what they mean?
to define again the distinction between the birthday number, the attitude number,
Okay.
and the life path number. What's
So
the difference?
the birthday number is so from birth number to attitude number to life path number, those are layers of a person. So day of birth that's first impression, attitude is next impression when you talk to that person, conversations, and life path is so that's who you really are. Life path is most essential to your life purpose. It reveals a path towards fulfillment, also the most challenges and issues to overcome. And birthday is day-to-day approach to life. Attitude is attitude towards life, and also shows me how you approach your accomplishments and your life purpose. So each number from birth to attitude to life path is more layers peeled to your inner self.
Okay, but like the energy of each number that you presented one by one after, they will resonate with those 3 layers. Is that correct?
Yes, Kurt?
I think, there's also, from my understanding, because I've been working with Mary on this and learning a bit about numerology as well, the most important number is your life path number, being your sort of destiny, and then your birthday number and attitude number. Maybe you need to explain the difference there a bit more. But then there's also numbers derived from your name. So it's quite complex. And then also the epicycles. Maybe you want to explain the...
Yeah.
You didn't explain that. That's also another...
Yeah, I just went over it so briefly, the epicycles. So each person, epicycles are a series from years 1 to 9 that can be assigned. It's a 9-year period cycle, 1 through 9, and it repeats over and over again. So like I said, I mentioned, so each year can be given a number, as well as each month and each day, and I use calculations based on your birth date. So like, for example, I said, this is my year number 8 of reward and recognition. This is my month of the art of expression and like selling my ideas and being on stage and being creative and being seen and heard. So that's an example of epicycles. Anybody else? Any questions?
something?
Yeah.
So, with the birth date and the attitude, I cannot use this. I cannot like calculate and then go into the life path. And no, it doesn't work like that, right?
What do you mean?
Like the numbers that I get out from the attitude and the birth date, I cannot correlate with the explanations for the life path. No, there's like a different explanation for.
So all the numbers 1 through 9 and 11 and 22, those are like the essential energies. It also relates to your attitude number. So if your attitude number is number 1, I said in a life path, it's an innovative, creative, problem-solving, a leader's number, like sort of a rebel's number. And if your attitude is number 1, that's your attitude.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people would think I'm a leader, but I'm actually something else.
I think the life path number is more like your destiny you need to fulfill to kind of find your true purpose in life. Whereas I'm still unsure about attitude and birthday number. It's more to do with your outward personality, day to day, or your attitude to life.
Explanations.
Is that right?
So the numbers that I discover from the birth date, their explanations are still the characters in the life path.
Yeah, it's relevant to your attitude and day.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Was everyone able to calculate their numbers?
We should change things.
Okay. Oh, what's your question?
Number 9, you said that's what that, or is it transformation? I mean, basically it's the same. It's just I'm interested in what information did you read in the book. So net 9 means, does it mean death? Was it written death, or was it written transformation? Because there's a different subconscious trigger in your emotional and spiritual mind.
8 is the number of transformation of life.
But 8 is the eternal, just.
Eternal life and death. It's like a snake eating itself.
But 9 is the number of death or transformation?
It's spiritual enlightenment.
Transformation.
Any more questions?
Okay. Yes.
Why did you say that for you was the most interesting number 7?
Yes, 7.
Why?
Because the question was, so how come you think that 7 is the most interesting number? It is the most mysterious number. It is repeated in the Bible a lot about mystery, about perfection. We have 7 sacraments. On the 7th day, there's rest. It is a number that symbolizes God. There's a lot of mystery to it. It is about the natural world. And even with life paths, there's a lot of like mysterious deaths, like Princess Diana, Heath Ledger is a 7, Johnny Depp, another mysterious person. Yeah. And Marilyn Monroe, JFK, 7's mysterious. It doesn't mean that like you're gonna have a mysterious death with 7. It's just, it's a nature of mystery. Yeah. Yes.
How do the numbers generated by your name compare to the ones generated by your birthday?
So the life paths 1 through 9 and 11 and 22, I gave the meaning of the essence of that number. So, for example, if your soul number is 8, it's like it's this essentially the same meaning, but you translate it different. So soul number for name is what you're fulfilled inside. It's hidden. And 8 means wealth, of business, of feeling full and abundant. And so translating that to soul number, it's like inside you are fulfilled when you are financially free and spiritually free. That makes sense. Okay.
But is it only the soul urge number that comes from the name? There's also those other numbers.
Yeah, also relates to personality and power. But just to go over personality, it's the face that you show other people, like the public image. And power is the biggest expression of every vibration in that name. For example, a POI is, the power number is number 8, which is a lot of power, influence, authority, and potential to turn this into a business.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any more questions?
I'm just curious about like your life, your job. What is your job exactly? You actually receive people that consult you. You actually tell people that people visit you and they pay for your, like you tell them what their life path is going to be.
Yes, so this is my day job. Actually, I don't see it as a day job. It's a childhood passion turned into a full-time career. I forgot to mention that in my intro, that I'm a numerologist. So I work with business owners internationally, and a lot of my work is online. So I help people create a brand name. I help them with epicycles. Like, for example, so I can't believe I left this out, epicycles. So for example, when to invest, when to avoid investing, when to create a community, when to launch a business, and how to align their intentions with purpose. So I pretty much make sure that with any business you do, that you're on purpose and you are fulfilled with what you do, based on your birthday and your name. Oh, social media.
Yeah, we'll get, don't worry.
Okay. Yes.
Is there a correlation between this and lucky or unlucky numbers that people believe in?
So lucky, unlucky numbers, it's more like superstition, which I don't work with. I need like a method behind the madness. So I never say, like for example, 666, it is not an unlucky number. It's not the devil's number. It's no energies are negative or positive. It's very dualistic language. So it's like for a challenge of 8, I can say, oh, you believe that money is evil. That's not a negative trait. It's just something to overcome. It's all an experience. So no negative, no positive numbers. Every number is unique in their own way. Okay.
Okay.
What's the relation between 6 and 9? Because it's a mirror. The one is a mirror of the other. I mean, it's standing for the pistis, yes, but what's the deeper meaning?
There's no, for my studies, there's no teaching of 6 and 9 being a mirror of each other.
Obviously, it is 6, 9.
But that's just how it's written. Doesn't mean that it's a mirror in the energy or anything. So maybe that's a different area of research. But good point. But yeah. Okay. Any more questions? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
They do have one that is.
Okay. Remember, Mary is still here after for questions, and we're going to put her information up there as well in a minute.
Bruno?
They do have one.
Okay.
If you want
Yes.
to close now.
No.
So, I'm sorry if you already mentioned it, but what is the methodology that Pythagoras used to go from a number to some kind of energy of a character that you're
For letters?
for
anything?
Like,
Well, the teachings, so Pythagoras, he's not a numerologist. The students today, I don't know how to transition that. So he got a lot of his mathematical knowledge from Chaldean numerology. Actually, so numeric is just math. Numerology is like the spiritual essence, how it relates to the spiritual world, which he didn't teach. It was more, it has to be logical and practical, and students of him, Pythagoras, actually he's really, all the authors I read from, they all credit him and his work. For the letters, a lot of it is from, it's like, I don't know how to explain that. I'm not sure.
Maybe we need a bit more. We
Yeah,
can answer
sorry,
that question later.
it's
because
my scientific.
quite,
Yeah.
it's quite in depth.
It's 30 for knowledge.
All right, look, Mary is still here. Let's click the slide
So-
to your. What happened to your screen?
Let's just grab it up.
Oh, okay, just wait. Just a few seconds.
Ferrell's still in the numbers vortex. Yeah, Mary is still here. If you want to contact her professionally, here are her details. If you want to talk to her more today, she's still here. Have another chat with her. Just want to say today we did a very exciting thing. We did a live stream. So that was thanks to Mary's entrepreneurialism. She decided we're just going to go for it today. Mus agreed. So this has been live streamed. So if all goes well, we're going to do future POI talks live stream. So it means we all want you to come, obviously, and see you face to face. But if you can't, it's now going to be on the POI Facebook page. So if you haven't liked the POI Facebook page, please do like it. We were trying to do a mailing list because I see that there's a lot of new faces here today. If you want to join our mailing list, we'll quickly get the iPad out and get you down. Or if you don't want to keep your piece of paper, you could write your name, email address, nationality, that's probably enough, and just leave the piece of paper there if you're leaving. So we can add you to the mailing list, which is basically just informing you of future POI events. And thanks to everybody for coming today, and hello again to Mus out there, and he's in quarantine, the poor darling, but he's watching us. And have a drink and have a good time, and